What's up? What's cracking? I want to get into a little bit of the subconscious mind trap that happens to us as people. And why I think it's important, especially when we're looking at being involved in fixing and flipping, we are going to come across a lot of resistance. And that resistance is going to be in the form of not only chatter that's in our mind, okay, but from other people as well. Because know that what we are doing, what we are about to embark on when you're going to do a fix and flip, it's very scary business. It's very scary business, right? Because it means that you are dealing with deals in the tens of thousands, if not the hundreds of thousands of dollars. You'll be taking risks. You're actually going to be physically owning a property. You're going to be physically destroying a property, and then you're going to be putting that property together. And so the capacity for something to go wrong exists. It exists. Is it a guarantee? Heck no. But does it exist? Absolutely. Now, this is the problem. Us as human beings, we have brought with us through millions of years of evolution, all of the necessary things to keep us alive, okay? Our subconscious mind being one of those things. Now, when you compare us to our wonderful friends in the animal kingdom, what you'll find is that a lot of the creatures that are out there, what separates us from the creatures is our capacity to have a choice, right? For the most part, if you put food in front of a dog, the dog is going to eat, right? They're going to do the thing. They're going to do the natural thing. People are the only things that have the capacity to choose something that might not be a natural drive. So I want you guys to first and foremost understand that any fear you've had, any negative talk that you've had mentally, that has made you feel like being in this business could potentially hurt you, whether it be a thought of your family will ridicule you, your spouse will think you're a failure, your children are going to be homeless because you're going to put them in that situation. These are all natural phenomena of the brain. It's there to keep us safe. How many of you guys have gotten in the car to a destination that you know and gotten to that destination and not had a single idea how the heck you got there? You just got into your car and you just drove and you ended up at the spot. So thank God for that subconscious mind, right? Thank God for it, because without it, you would not have survived that car ride. There's no chance you would have survived that. If you hadn't been able to just go through the rote motions of what it takes to get from here to there, without your subconscious mind having kicked in, there's no chance that you would have survived that car ride. So we know that it's necessary to be there, that we have to have this mechanism to keep us safe in our lives. Here's the problem with it, though. It will keep you small. It will keep you in a life that is okay. It'll allow you just enough success to pay the bills, to fill your belly, hopefully, and maybe get a nice vacation once a year, but you will not be thriving. You will be surviving. And that's the difference. What we're talking about here is about the mindset of elevating yourself from a survival state to a thriving state. And I want you guys to write that down. If you do have a notepad, I want you to very quickly write down what your idea of surviving is. What does it mean to survive? And in the next column, I want you to just quickly jot down what life looks like if you're thriving. Now, I want you to look at those two columns, and I want you to understand that what will get you to slide from thriving to surviving will always be one thing, and one thing only: fear. Fear in every one of its forms is going to rip you out of a potential to thrive back into a survival state. Now, what ends up happening is we allow our brains to trick us in putting a different cloak on fear. And we do that through the ego. We do that through our egos. Why? Because we don't want to see ourselves as delicate. We don't want to see ourselves as less than. We always want to think of ourselves in the best light possible, and we don't necessarily want us to think of ourselves as being fearful. And so what we'll often do is we'll often cloak fear in some other form. Now, those forms tend to be things like false humility, greed, victim thought process. You know, when you hear those individuals with every excuse, or this happened, and this happened, and this happened, and this happened, this is why I couldn't have success in life for all of these reasons outside of myself. Well, I want to share with you guys a reality, and this is going to be tough for some people to swallow, and it was for me. But you are 1,000% responsible for everything that's happening in your life. Even if it's, hey, how is it my fault if I get hit in a car driving by a drunk driver? How is that my fault? And I'm not saying that that is your fault, but I'm saying you are responsible. You are responsible for 100% of the things that are happening in your life. And oftentimes the circumstances that we find ourselves in when they're accidental are a reflection of the way we are vibrating in our hearts and minds. And that's a difficult thing to understand and realize. That what is happening, how we're feeling in our hearts, and the thoughts that we're thinking in our brain are manifesting themselves out in our day-to-day life. None of us ever want to feel like within our heart holds some form of greed, or maybe some hatred, or maybe some victim ideology, maybe some illogical rules, maybe some I'm better than you thought processes. Anytime we have those thoughts where we put ourselves in a situation where we are different from or better than somebody else, we degrade ourselves back into that survival spot. And our ego will cloak that stinky little turd that took us there with some explanation as to why that is what it is. But I am telling you guys that it is 100% fear. And so our job, if we want to live a life that is full, that is whole, that is in a thriving place, we have to figure out how to remove fear from our day-to-day thought processes. So I want to give you guys some tools.